Hi folks, we're going to take a look at this question from the Unit 5 assignment, and it's number 2. So they ask us to find an equation for this function shown in the table of values. Okay, so let's see what we can figure out by looking at this table of values. One option you always have is to sketch it on a graph, but I want to see if I can figure out what's going on based on the table of values. Okay, so at time 0, so at the start, I'm at 25 meters. Okay, and let's see what happens as time moves on. Okay, I see that first my values start to go down. Okay, then they get to 7, then they start to go up again. Okay, they keep going up, keep going up, keep going up till we get back to 25, and then it looks like everything starts over again. So from what I can see here, this is the start of a cycle. Okay, and here I get to the end of the cycle, and I see that that took 80 seconds. Okay, so the first thing that I can get from this here is that the period, okay, is 80 seconds. Okay, now 25, my starting point, seems to be the biggest value in my cycle. So that tells me that the maximum here is 25. Okay, and the lowest number in my cycle was the 7. So the min is equal to 7. Okay, but now that I have my max and min, I can calculate the amplitude and the axis. Okay, so I know the axis is the line that cuts through the middle between the max and min, so it's going to be the average of the two. So it's y equals max plus min divided by 2. So here 25 plus 7 is 32 divided by 2 is 16. Okay, and the amplitude is half the distance between the max and the min. So it's the max minus the min divided by 2. So 25 minus 7 divided by 2. So here 25 minus 7 is 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, and the last thing that we need to interpret from this table of values is where it's starting. So we see that it starts at the maximum. Anything that starts at the maximum, we're going to use as our parent, positive cosine x. Okay, so that's going to be our parent function. Okay, so now let's figure out what the equation actually will be. So I know I'm going to have my amplitude times cosine, and the input is b times x, and then plus k. Okay, so the amplitude represents my a value. So here, my a value is just 9. Okay, cosine of, well, I need to find my b value. Well, that's related to my period. So the b value is just 360 divided by my period, which was 80. So I'm just going to take a second here and calculate that. So 360 divided by 80 gives me 4.5. Okay, so that means that my b value is just 4.5. So let's put that into the equation. And then the k value is just my axis. So here, plus 16. And there we have our equation. But again, because x and y now have a context to them, I have to specify what that is for my equation. So x here is the time in seconds. Okay, and the y value is the height in meters. Okay, so let's just recap here for when we're dealing with a table of values. So you can always draw this on a graph to get a sense of what the shape and the main parts of the graph look like, or you can just study the table of values. Here we first figured out what the period of the function would be, then we determined what the max and min were, and once I had that information, I was able to calculate axis, amplitude, and the b value. Okay, so that's it for this one.